Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss a recent article highlighting 6 reasons that Gale should not have survived in Scream 6. Now I have narrowed this list down to what I feel are the top 3 strongest reasons. And I'm going to present these to you and share my thoughts on each of them. And will also give my personal opinion on what I think should happen to Gale moving forward and whether or not her character still brings value to future movies. Should Gale return in Scream 7? If so, in what capacity? Or did James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick make a mistake by having her survive Scream 6? It's time to tackle those questions head on. Let's go! So Screen Rant recently posted the article that I'm pulling up these reasons to share with you today. Again, they gave 6 reasons, so check out the article if you want to see the rest of the reasons they gave. But coming in for me at number 3 was that Scream 6 had too many survivors. I mean, Ghostface attempted to murder a lot of characters in Scream 6, but somehow many of them survived, which is a point of criticism for many in the fandom about the movie. Now, when you look back to Scream 1, we saw only 4 apparent survivors: Sidney, Gale, Dewey, and Randy, and of course, I throw in Stu Macher as well, which gives us 5 total there. However, after the Scream 6 killings, which by the way, were carried out by more ghost faces than ever in the franchise, 7 of the characters survived. Now, in relation to Gale, saying goodbye to fan favorite characters is always hard. It makes the Scream franchise what it is. Now, while killing off Gale, though, in Scream 6 would have lowered the number of survivors, 6 still would have been a high number. But it would have, it would have had the added symmetry of matching the film number. 6 survivors in Scream 6. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to highlight. But the question now is, do I personally agree or disagree with this reason? Well, I want to say this. I agree with this point in general. There were 7 survivors in Scream 6, and in my opinion, at least 1 more person should have been killed. At least 1, maybe 2 more. I mean, I felt going into the movie that one of the core 4 would not survive the movie because Radio Silence told us beforehand that they're willing to risk it all to subvert expectations. So certainly I felt one of the core 4 were not going to make it. And I also thought Kirby had a 50-50 chance of surviving the movie. I always, though, felt, and those of you who watch the streams and videos, you'll know this. I always felt Gale was not going to be killed in 6. And even the Lethal Collective, I shared it over and over. I did not think she was going to die in the movie. Now, there was a point where it looked like they might actually do it in the apartment. And it looked pretty convincing for a few seconds. And then they had a slight pulse. I'm like, okay, so they didn't pull it off. They kept her alive, as I predicted. And that's cool. But my final thought on this reason is that Gale did not have to die to reduce the survivor count. Others could have been killed and it would have accomplished the same end of less survivors, which I think the movie should have had. All right, number 2, Gale's death could have given Kirby a more significant role. So Kirby made her return to the franchise in Scream 6, as you know, after last being seen in Scream 4, presumed by most to be dead, but Scream 5 confirmed she was alive, and then we got her in 6. And it felt like, in a way, to make up for Sidney's absence. In fact, when they announced her coming on board, I made videos about that, saying, I suspect they're doing this because they can't get Sidney. They're needing to help soften the blow of not having Sidney in the movie. They're going to bring back Kirby. And I've always felt that was kind of how that all ultimately shook down. But Kirby held her own, and she did a great job. She's fantastic, and she made it through the film while with not being killed. She was attacked, but she survived. However, if Gale were to die, Kirby would have had a more significant role. Kirby could officially take over as the new legacy character, the way Sam took over as the new final girl. Instead of relying on Gale, Sam and her friends would turn to Kirby for help. Kirby's been in the franchise for 20 years, and Kirby is becoming the new sole legacy character. Would have been refreshing for the franchise. So do I agree or disagree with this reason? I both agree and disagree. So I disagree that Gale's death would have had a big impact on the role Kirby played in Scream 6, because I do not see her role being more significant had Gale died. Because think about it, overall, Gale's role was pretty small. It really was. She had the great attack scene in her apartment, and then she had the run-in with them, whenever she was trying to get questions answered, and Tara slugged her, remember? So, she had her moments, but her role was pretty small. However, I agree that had Gale not survived in 6, it could have propelled Kirby into a larger role for 7 and made her character more significant to the story moving forward. So if we're talking about future Scream films and seeing Kirby roles expanded, then yes, I do agree. If we're talking about only Scream 6, then I disagree with this reason. All right, now, moving on to the final reason I chose to highlight for you guys today is number 1, Gale's survival contradicted Scream 5's message. So Dewey's death was one of the saddest in the Scream franchise. I still fast forward every time. When I watch Scream 5, I skip it. I can't stand to watch it. And Ghostface spared Dewey's life 4 times. But Scream 5 proved legacy characters were no longer safe from Ghostface. So when Gale survived Scream 6, it disproved Scream 5's message by suggesting legacy characters are off limits again. Chad and Mindy's survival after being brutally stabbed damaged the message even more. But Gale's death could have fixed the issue. By keeping Gale alive, Scream 6 backstepped, proving the film wasn't willing to take the same risks as they did in 5. And for this reason, I 100% agree. And I remember how one of the very first live streams I did after Scream 6 came out, after I saw it, and on the Lethal Collective channel as well, talking about how, and even before that, before the movie came out, it was like, if they do not continue the path they started down, then it's, like killing one of the core 4, for example, like I predicted, and which didn't happen, or a legacy character, even though, I was hoping it wouldn't be Gale and I predicted it wouldn't be Gale. But if you do that though, and you don't do that, you're backtracking. You're absolutely backtracking, and I completely agree with this. It really did by not killing any of the core 4 or having them both survive 2 movies, all 4 of them. You basically now have taken and placed them into the all safe category. Even to separate this from Gale and Kirby, the legacy, just the core 4. The fact that you didn't take one of them out shows that the stakes really weren't raised, that they backtracked. So this is a criticism I think that's fair, and I think that a lot of people understand that. A lot of people are they get that, because after what we saw they did to Dewey, you're like, okay, they're going for it. Radio silence is going out there. No one is safe, and that was the feeling going into the movie. No one's safe. But what do? Everyone was safe. So there's I don't see a way to look at that and not feel like they took the bite, or the teeth out of their bite, if you will, from what we had expected. So now going into 7, I expect everyone to live again. Maybe that was their plan. Throw us off. Keep us guessing. I don't know. But I think that really did hurt the tone that they had going after 5, which was that anyone can die. We saw it with Dewey, of all people. But they did not continue that in 6. So my final questions I'm going to throw out there is, did James and Guy make a mistake by writing her to survive Scream 6? And I'm going to say no. I'm actually happy Gale survived, and would have been really disappointed had she been killed in the movie. I never was on the kill Gale bandwagon for Scream 6. I felt the core 4 was the way to go if you're going to take one out and keep the stakes up. And another question, should Gale return in Scream 7? I say absolutely yes. Let's bring her back again. And while they're at it, let's get Sidney back in the fold so we can finally have the once and for all showdown with Stu Macher. And let's see this thing come out to the epic ending, epic battle that we've most all of us, not everybody, but a lot of us have been waiting for. And I say let's do it all in Scream 7. All right, everyone. I want to know what you think about these reasons and what my thoughts were about Gale moving forward. I want to know your thoughts now. What are your ideas? What are your theories about all this? So start leaving your comments below right now so we can discuss it together. Well, that is it for this update, guys, but I'll be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thanks for watching.